If your lawn is starting to look tired, the real damage might not be the heat. It might be your hose. Right now, all across the country, homeowners are grabbing their sprinklers every single evening, thinking they're saving their grass. In reality, many of them are quietly starving it. July is the month that decides whether your lawn survives summer or collapses under it. The sun is stronger, the soil dries faster. And one watering mistake, repeated night after night, can undo everything you did in June. Today we're breaking down exactly how to water your lawn correctly in July, along with a few other essentials that still matter this month. And stick around until the end because there's a warning sign hiding in your grass right now that most people completely misread. Catch it late and the fix gets a lot more expensive. Let's start with the biggest mistake of the entire month. The evening sprinkle trap. It's hot outside, your lawn looks a little dry, so you turn on the sprinkler for 10 minutes before dinner. It feels responsible, it feels like the right move, but that quick daily splash is one of the fastest ways to weaken a lawn in July. Here's what's actually happening underground. A short watering session barely soaks the top layer of soil. It never reaches deeper down, where the strongest roots live. So the roots simply stop bothering to grow downward. Why would they when all the water is sitting near the surface? That's how a lawn develops a shallow root system. And a shallow root system is fine right up until a real heat wave hits. The moment the top few centimeters of soil dry out, which happens fast under a July sun, those shallow roots have nothing left to draw from. The grass goes stressed almost overnight, even though you've technically been watering it every single day. This is the trap. You water constantly and your lawn still fails. So what should you be doing instead? Water deep, not often. For most lawns in July, 2 deep watering sessions a week beat 7 light ones. Deep watering means giving the soil enough time and volume to soak down several centimeters, encouraging roots to chase that moisture further into the ground. Deeper roots mean a lawn that can survive a dry stretch without panicking. Here's a simple way to check yourself. After watering, push a screwdriver into the soil. If it slides in easily to a good depth, the water reached where it needed to. If it stops almost immediately, you're only wetting the surface and your lawn is still at risk. Most established lawns need somewhere around 2 to 3 centimeters of water per session during hot weather, though sandy soil dries faster and clay soil holds moisture longer. Pay attention to your own yard rather than copying a fixed number blindly. Timing matters more than people realize. Water early in the morning, before the heat builds. Before evaporation steals half of what you just applied. Late night watering feels convenient, but it leaves grass blades damp for hours in warm, still air. That combination is exactly what fungal disease looks for. Midday watering has its own problem. Much of the water evaporates before it ever reaches the roots, so you end up using more water for less benefit. Early morning avoids both issues, it's simply the smartest window. The sign most people get backwards. When grass blades start folding, curling, or turning a dull blue-gray instead of green, most homeowners assume the lawn needs more water immediately. Sometimes that's true. But footprints are the real test. Walk across the lawn. If your footprints stay visible for several minutes instead of springing back, the grass is telling you it's under stress and needs water soon. If the grass springs back quickly, it may not need water at all, and adding more could actually push the soil towards staying constantly wet, which invites its own set of problems. Learn to read the lawn before reaching for the hose out of habit. Sprinklers lie to you. Here's something almost nobody checks. Most homeowners assume their sprinkler runs for 10 minutes and figure that's enough. But different sprinkler heads, different water pressure, and different nozzle types can produce wildly different amounts of water in the exact same 10 minutes. One yard might get a light misting, another might get a proper soak. Same timer, same routine, completely different result. There's an easy way to find out what your system actually delivers. Place a few empty cans or shallow containers around the lawn before you water. Run your sprinkler as usual. Then check how much water collected inside each one. If you're seeing far less than expected, you may have been underwatering for weeks without realizing it. If certain containers are overflowing while others stay nearly empty, your coverage is uneven and some sections of your lawn have basically been ignored the entire summer. This single test explains more mystery brown patches than almost anything else. What about new or recently repaired grass? If you patched bare spots or overseeded earlier in the season, July changes the rules slightly. Young grass hasn't developed deep roots yet, so it can't rely on the same deep, infrequent watering approach that established lawns use. Newly seeded areas often need lighter, more frequent moisture just to keep the top layer from drying out while roots are still forming. Once that new grass reaches mowing height and gets cut a few times, it's ready to transition toward the same deep watering routine as the rest of the lawn. Treating new grass and established grass identically is a quiet mistake that shows up as patchy, uneven color weeks later. The soil type. Nobody thinks about not every lawn holds water the same way, and July heat exposes its difference fast. Sandy soil drains quickly, which means it may need watering more often even if each session stays deep. Clay soil holds water far longer, but it also absorbs water more slowly, so pouring too much on too fast just causes runoff instead of soaking in. If water is pooling on the surface or running off toward the sidewalk before it has time to sink in, try shorter watering bursts spaced apart, giving the soil time to absorb each round before the next one starts. Knowing your soil type turns guesswork into a system. Don't forget the other July basics. Watering is the main story this month, but a few other habits still matter. Keep mowing on the taller side. Taller grass shades the soil, slows moisture loss, and handles heat far better than a lawn cut too short. Never remove more than a third of the blade height in a single cut, even in peak summer growth. Hold off on heavy fertilizing during the hottest stretches. Pushing fast new growth while the lawn is already fighting heat stress just adds more strain at the worst possible time. If feeding is necessary, choose a light, balanced summer formula and apply it on a cooler day, never onto dry, stressed soil, and keep an eye on high traffic zones. Paths, edges near driveways, and spots where kids or pets constantly cross tend to show stress first. Give those areas a little extra attention before they turn into full bare patches. These matter, but none of them will save a lawn that's being watered incorrectly. Get the watering right and everything else becomes far easier to manage. The hidden problem. Most people misread. Now here's the warning sign we mentioned earlier. Sometimes a section of lawn looks dry, patchy, and stressed no matter how much you water it. The obvious response is to water even more, but if extra water isn't fixing it, drought might not be the actual cause. Gently tug at the grass in that patch. If it lifts away from the soil with almost no resistance like a loose carpet, something may be feeding on the roots beneath the surface. Pouring more water onto that spot won't help. It can even make conditions more favorable for whatever is already causing the damage. Before adding more water to a stubborn patch, always check what's happening underneath first. Some problems in July don't come from the sky at all. They come from below.